Is it Omega or Omega?
Omega.
Omega.
Omega. Nar.
Nar. Welcome. Welcome to Talk About Tatooine. I'm Andrew.
I'm Nathan.
And we are twin brothers here to bring you what's new in nerddom and give colorful commentary on our favorite subjects. Welcome to our cantina. Grab a drink and settle in as we set course for realities beyond our own.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 62. Today's recording date is February 24th, and this episode is going to be released on Monday, March 4th. Today, we're going to be discussing Bad Batch, episodes 1, 2, and 3 of Season 3. We're going to have some fun times. We're going to start off with our starter question, and stick around because we have a bunch of new nerddom news, even though we're recording this on the same day as we did our previous podcast, but we did find more news to talk to you guys about, so we're stoked for it. Let's go. Opening question. Andrew, if you had to be in the Star Wars universe, what species would you want to be?
No question. I absolutely would want to be a Wookiee. 100%.
He's a mad claw, guys.
I'm pretty used to being the tallest person in the room, so being a Wookiee would be great. And they're like super strong and super cuddly. And who doesn't love Chewbacca? And the ability to you're like, oh, like I'm really cute and like I have long, luscious hair. But if you say anything wrong, I will rip your arm off and beat you to death with it.
I love that. That's so comforting and cute and cuddly. I would want to be something that I would be able to maintain my physique and eating habits. So I definitely would want to be a Hutt.
Let's be honest, Jabba really reels him in.
It really pulls him in, literally, by chains. Oh, you can't see it, but the dogs are in play mode, and sometimes Finley just gets those hips going, and he just can't stop humping the air. He just drives it right into the air. He just can't stop. It's great.
No.
And this is why you should subscribe on YouTube so you can see shenanigans like that. We're very excited about this here, guys. Thank you so much to our top patrons. Before we get into the show here, guys, Mike, Isaac, David, we love you. You're the best. Thank you guys for supporting the show. And for just $5 a month, you also can support us here at Talk About Tatooine so we can do more awesome things like giveaways, game servers, and higher quality content. Thank you, everybody. And let's hop right in. All right, so today we are going to be talking about episodes 1, 2, and 3 of Season 3 of Bad Batch. Can you hear them?
Yeah, I can. So shut the hell up, Dad. I'm playing.
All right, so I believe where I got rudely cut off by dogs and technology issues was we were going to go into our main discussion today and talk about episodes 1, 2, and 3 from the Bad Batch Season 3. Does that sound about right?
Yes, I believe you're right.
Perfect. Andrew, would the first episode is Confined. Would you give us just a quick synopsis of what happens or just go right into your thoughts?
Sure thing. So we see Omega is imprisoned in the Mount Tantus facility as she's trying to adjust to her new life. She's sort of a prisoner, sort of not, because she still has jobs and duties. She's like the servant or assistant to Nala Se. That's the Kaminoan, correct? So she's basically just doing whatever she's told by the staff there. Isn't really allowed to do anything. She's kept in very Spartan quarters. Isn't allowed any personal artifacts. Has to sleep in her clothes and is prone to surprise inspections at any time of the day or night. And there are so many commandos in this facility.
So many.
It's almost 100% guarded by just former Republic commandos, now Imperial commandos. And we still haven't seen the rest of Delta Squad.
They're teasing us right now. They're teasing us.
Scorch has seen a lot of screen time in the first and third episode of this season so far, but we have not seen Boss, Fixer, or Sev. If you don't know, this is from the old game Republic Commando, when the concept of a Republic Commando was introduced. Similar to ARC troopers, but instead of being attached to battalions, they work independently in squads of 4. And they were brought back into canon in the Savaja Press arc in the Clone Wars. Anyway, let's talk about our rating. Here's the thing. I loved these episodes. I don't know that I would rate any of them higher than an 8 because there's not really a lot of things that I would rate an 8, 9, or 10. So I'm going to say 7 for episode 1. I thought it was pretty good. What would you rate it?
All right. Pacing was a little slow. And you guys have heard me say this a million times on the podcast. I will dock you for pacing, but I do kind of feel like this is them hopefully starting with like a slow burn.
Yep.
Maybe
Mhm.
I would agree with a 7, mostly because of the pacing, but also the intrigue of the facility is like, it's not just this facility that you get in like a few scenes. It's like, nope, the primary portion of the plot is happening in this secret facility. And this feels like Disney doing two things, actually. It feels like, one, they are trying to explain things past what has actually happened in regards to the Rise of Skywalker. I think that's pretty clear in episode 3 when they actually name the project, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I also feel like this is Disney trying to really dip its toes into building the expanded universe. And so far, I'm liking it.
Because we haven't seen a lot of tangential story arcs that are at least 1 degree of separation away from the Skywalker story. You know what I'm saying? Andor was the first, I want to say the first story that wasn't direct, like 1 degree of separation or less or more from a Skywalker.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because like Solo, you probably could make an argument for, but like he's really only 1 degree of separation away from Leia. Even though Leia wasn't in the movie, she's not hinted at all. Maybe Solo.
Yeah, I get that.
I could be convinced. But you know what I'm saying? Everything has revolved around the Skywalkers. So it's really interesting to see literally anything else.
Yeah,
I think that story has been told and we need to start focusing on other characters.
absolutely.
Some thoughts I had about episode 1. First off, Tantus is gorgeous. It sort of reminds me in my mind's eye of what Caliban was from Warhammer 40k, where it's like jungle world where there's like these pockets of civilization and safety, but really most of the planet is pretty dangerous.
Yes, it's a verdant death world with arcologies of civilization.
Yes, thank you. That's a great word, arcology.
Well, they use it a lot in the book, so
It counts. If you read something from a book and you remember it, that counts as real knowledge that you're allowed to spit back out. Anyway, Omega's captivity there, she's a prisoner with jobs program, is really depressing. Oh my gosh. And the score is phenomenal. It's so melancholic that it really draws you in and you really feel like you're right there with her. Of course, you're not really right there with her because then she wouldn't be facing this crushing, lonely isolation. But you get it.
yeah.
To see her struggle is really, really heartaching. She wants to bond. She wants to understand why people are doing anything. The other doctor who's a clone, I don't remember her name.
I don't remember either.
She's the one with the fancy glasses. You know, she makes some attempts to like try to get to know her and be like, why are you doing this? Because she's another female clone that, even though she's not the last one, because Omega is the last one. If you guys didn't know, Omega is the last letter of the Greek alphabet.
Kind of on the nose.
A little on the nose. But she's desperate for connection. And she even the times she finds Crosshair, like in the facility and gets to talk to Crosshair, she's like, she doesn't give up on him because she's so hopeful. And Crosshair is just like, I barely want to be alive. And it's really hard to watch, but I'm really, really hopeful that we see a Crosshair redemption arc. I really, really want to see it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he wasn't responsible for his actions. He's like betrayed the batch, but like he kind of like already experienced his comeuppance because his face got burnt. He got left for dead by the Empire multiple times to the point where he finally snapped and shot a superior officer for mouthing off about his existence.
That was a good episode.
It was a good episode. You're like, like the whole time you're like, I wonder if he's going to shoot him. And then he does. And you're like, yes.
This is a kid show. This is a kid show. This is a kid show. Yeah.
We all wanted to see it. But you're totally right about the pacing. It's a little on the slow side, but it's definitely going to be a slow burn. But we've seen a lot of success with those slow burns. Andor season 1. Amazing. What is the word I'm looking for? Amazing dynamic storytelling. It's got your slow and lows and your high-powered action scenes that really resolve the tension that had built up over those low burns. I'm totally here for it. I mean, I watched The Bad Batch the day it came out. I was like, yes.
Same.
Not like the Marvels where I was like, I don't really care. I've watched.
No, I literally, like, I came home from work, walked the dogs, sat on the couch, and I said, boys, cuddle up. We're watching Star Wars.
Star Wars, Star Wars.
It was great.
Do you have any other additional thoughts about episode 1?
Not on episode 1. I was a little bummed that we didn't see more of the other parts of the batch, but I see now that, like, as we go into episode 2, they're telling the story in just different episodes.
Yeah.
And you're going to see those story arcs hopefully converge.
Mhm.
Also, hopefully we're not going to get any filler.
I really don't want to see any filler. Because this is the final season.
Did you notice in the recap, which the recap was really good? I
Yes.
recommend like not skipping it in the first episode. They didn't even like show the racing episode. It like wasn't even in there. And like on the episode we reviewed that we were like, it's just filler. And like they were like, yeah, it's not relevant to the story at all because they didn't even put it in the recap. And I was like, yeah, you don't need stuff like that in there. Like give us story. Like the season would have been better without it.
If season 2 of The Bad Batch was a burrito, the racing episode is rice.
Oh, I like rice in my burritos.
I do too.
Especially if it's cilantro lime rice.
We'll say it was unflavored rice.
But this episode was not cilantro lime rice, let me tell you what.
This was unflavored rice. We'll say it was sushi rice in a burrito.
Let's move on into episode 2, Paths Unknown. Following a lead, Hunter and Wrecker make a startling discovery. After earning the good graces of the Deveronians, the batch gets a lead on Hemlock's old lab and find themselves in a world of trouble and surprise when they go planetside. Facing the remnants of quite a few experiments left behind, Hunter and Wrecker have to fight, blast, and cut their way through a very dangerous situation.
I liked this one a lot. It kind of had a lot more horror elements to it. I think Star Wars really could do well with a horror spinoff. I think they could do an awesome job because there's some scary stuff in Star Wars. And a lot of it has to do with spiders.
Dude, I freaking love like the idea that they're like, hey, like the whole idea of Imperial horror projects like going wrong is my jam. I'm like, yes, like killer vine monsters that they're like, well, we were researching this and then it started killing people and then we had to leave. Like, I love that. So cool.
So I love that so much. Not only because like it shows how much the Empire has little to no oversight or really ethical standards. They're like they're asking the question, could we, not should we? And I'm totally for it.
Did we? Yes, we already have.
Should you have? What do you mean, should we have? We could, so we did. I'm really wondering if those little tree monsters are actually Drengir from the High Republic.
Oh, dude.
If you're familiar with the High Republic, in Phase 1, we see the outbreak that starts at something called the Amaxine Station. This is not about Bad Batch. This is about 500 years before the Bad Batch. And some Jedi and some essentially space refugees find the Amaxine Station. They sort of get stranded there, and because there's some Jedi on board, they're able to like sense something in the station, and they sense a strong dark side power coming from some artifacts in the station. Well, they remove the dark side artifacts. They bring them back to the temple to destroy them, and they find that, wait, these artifacts are not imbued with the dark side. And they're really confused because they're like, well, they were on the station. And then that's when they find the discovery of, oh, these artifacts were actually keeping something on the station dormant. That was where the dark side was coming from. And that force is actually the Drengir. Imagine if a bunch of Ents, like from Lord of the Rings, took cocaine and started eating people. That's what the Drengir is. So they woke up. The Amaxine Station had basically some like hyperspace escape pods that could like instantaneously transport people to different set worlds. And like one of the Jedi gets like stuck there, almost killed, basically driven insane. And then they basically open an entire war with the Drengir. They have to go and like purge the Drengir from the galaxy because they're so evil. That is led by a Jedi named Avar Kriss. That conflict is actually really shelled out in some of the High Republic comics. So it's a little unfortunate you have to go through so many different forms of media to find out about this story, but maybe we will see the Drengir reappear in TV form. I think that would be really cool because they are spooky.
That would be awesome.
That's my lore rant for this episode, is the Drengir are super cool.
Bring them back.
The actual like tiny little tree face huggers. I don't know if this was so much a call out to the face huggers from like Alien versus Predator or Half-Life, Could be both. Or head crabs, that's what they're called.
Head crabs, yeah.
But I saw them and I like immediately channeled that Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's sitting on the couch. He goes, "Whip, whip," and he like whistles and points. He's like, "I recognize that.
Yup.
I've seen that before." One line of dialogue, I want to bring this up. One line of dialogue that really, really bugged me is one of the clones they find in Hemlock's lab, because obviously he was experimenting on clone children. No, so again, we have no idea how many of the clones were like dispersed across the galaxy to different labs, because some of them are being killed, some of them are being turned into assassins, and others are literally just being turned into blood pumps for Hemlock's testing. Some pretty dark stuff, and I'm totally here for it. But one of the clone children asks Hunter, well, how long has Omega been gone? And Hunter just responds, too long. And my response was, boo. I want to know the exact BBY, the before the Battle of Yavin date that she went missing. Give me a 24-esque, like from the TV show 24-esque clock sound between every scene. Gosh dang it. I used this information.
5 days after capture, 7 days after capture, 3 months later. And you're like, yeah, like give us some time. However, you can see how much time elapses in Omega's cell, because in the beginning of the episode, she scratches a line on the cell. And at the end of the episode, if you pause, you can count how many lines are on there. And I believe it's been like 3 weeks.
Okay. That's actually not that long.
I saw that was somebody else who had done the math and the screenshots. But yeah, I mean, it's like, imagine they're looking for her for 3 weeks at this point. So like, this is like not a huge amount of time has gone by, but enough to be significant. And 3 weeks in solitary confinement is still really bad.
That's true. Yeah, 3 weeks without any contact to people.
I guess that's not true solitary, because she's a prisoner with a job.
And she gets to talk to the doctors at some point. Like, she does have some human interaction. If it was true solitary confinement, 3 weeks, she would have actually gone crazy and probably killed herself. Because that's what happens. Would have been real bad. Or she would have been so messed up by the end. Although she's got some serious trauma in her life. Poor girl. Because like, she's clearly getting older, but she's still clinging to things like the straw doll that she made as like a comfort object. And that's to show like that is very evident of her trauma. You know, she's thinking back to the times where things were good on Camino, and she did have that doll. Or I guess no, it was that was Wrecker's doll. So she's thinking about her good times with the squad. I almost said something wrong.
Shall we move into part number 3?
I believe so.
All right. In episode 3, Shadows of Tantus, Omega and Crosshair hatch a daring plan. What we see is the Emperor takes a visit to Mount Tantus. Very, very exciting stuff. They get a surprise visit from the Dark Man in a Cloak himself, and we get to see some really, really cool stuff. Now, during this, we see Nala Se get a little bit preoccupied, and she is not able to sequester Omega's blood sample. So we see a big change of events in Project Necromancer, which is the project that they are currently involved in, and they are working on finding and replicating M counts, which, Andrew, what do we think an M count is?
A midichlorian count.
Exactly. So they are trying to clone force-sensitive people. Pretty obvious. If they can clone force-sensitive people, who might they want to clone? The Emperor! Just because he dies and then he comes back somehow. You're like, it's because he's a clone.
Excuse me, the Emperor beloved by all.
Not beloved by all. Absolutely not. Not our dear Henry Cavill. Anyways, sorry. To be fair, I love this episode. I would give probably all of these like 7s or 8s, just kind of across the board so far. I'm really liking this. Again, Project Necromancer is a little bit of Disney filling its own plot holes, but still really cool and does have the potential to be used in other areas. For example, in the expanded universe, we see clones of the Emperor, we see clones of different heroes, we see clones of Thrawn. So many different things. The clones have a lot of possibility to be used, so this could open up other devices for writers to use as well.
To be fair, Star Wars has a rich history of filling their own plot holes with other shows, other movies, and especially the books. Like, if you thought episode 1 had a lot of plot holes, read the book Plagueis, but it's super good. You could actually describe the entire book as an explanation or plot hole filler for episode 1, The Phantom Menace. It's very good. It's a lot of politics. It's not a ton of action per se, but I found it fascinating. Lucino does an awesome job at filling in some of the lore plot holes for Star Wars. Let's see. Episode 3. So I actually rewatching episode 1, 2, and 3, and then starting at the beginning 1. So I watched episode 3, basically ending with them escaping, and then moved on to episode 1, which starts off with the shuttle crash on the planet Tantus. The shuttle that crashed in episode 1 is the shuttle they escape on in episode 3, correct?
Yes, maybe. I think.
I believe it is. I didn't actually get through watching episode 3 again, but I did skip to the very end for them escaping, and the shuttle has some pretty key differences. So first off, one, I'm not actually even sure it's the same type of shuttle. I could be totally wrong. I would need to look at it side by side. However, in episode 1, when the stormtroopers who are initially manning the shuttle gets struck by lightning and it crashes. There is significant damage to the shuttle, especially the wings. And the cockpit, the actual cockpit canopy is like completely shattered out, giant holes in it. And then in episode 3, it is completely whole and there's no dents in the wings. It was a little weird to me, like watching episode 3, I was like, wait, was that flyable? And they're like, yeah.
Sort of.
That's like their whole explanation. Omega's like, yeah, we can get it running. I was like, if you can get it running, why did it crash in the first place?
Didn't it get struck by lightning?
Yeah, it got struck by lightning. Things that get struck by lightning and then crash into the ground usually need to be serviced a little bit more before they can just get up and fly away again.
One would think.
Again, this is a pretty minor nitpick because I still really liked this episode, but it was just that kind of one detail of the shuttle. I was like, that doesn't track. And maybe there was another shuttle that they found and I just wasn't paying too close of attention. I'm kind of hoping that's the case because otherwise I'm like, they would have had to stay planet side because I do believe they exit the atmosphere with a somehow intact canopy. I don't know. It's definitely a continuity issue between episodes 1 and 3.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to die on this hill. I give it a 1 out of 10. I can't believe they would do this. No, I still give it a 7. Still give it a 7.
No tactical forklifts, unwatchable.
That is a spoiler for our ODST review, our retro review.
Which makes you guys tune in next week because we're going to be doing some video game reviews as well. Andrew, we have some more exciting news from the HoloNet. Are you excited to get into that?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. All right. So, Andrew, go ahead and hit us with that first one.
So, a while ago, and I'm not sure why this didn't come up on my feed, because I feel like I do a pretty good job of like catering my algorithm so it shows me the things I like. But I just saw the announcement trailer for Command and Conquer Legions. What? We grew up on the Command and Conquer games.
Yeah, buddy.
They are awesome. So this is, I don't know what kind of game this is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be an RTS or a shooter, whatever, but I'm here for it. It was just a cinematic trailer. We didn't see any gameplay, but we did see some pretty cool units, both from the GDI, but the Brotherhood of Nod, which is the evil faction, they looked awesome. They look so cool.
Should you be using quotations with evil? Aren't they a militant cult?
What?
Nod?
Who?
The Brotherhood of Nod.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They're a cult, dude.
I recall nothing.
We've lost him, folks.
I reserve the right to not incriminate myself. From a certain point of view, the Jedi are evil. Anyway, so we'll be reporting on that as we get more and more news. Now that it's on our radar, we'll make sure to throw it out to you guys. We do a lot of RTS stuff. It's probably one of my favorite genres, if I'm being honest. So we play I've been playing a lot of StarCraft on stream. Thank you guys for...
Dude, that's been a blast.
It's been so fun. It's been so fun.
I wish my PC could do that concurrently, but it just does not have the power.
I'll stream. You co-op with me. We'll be fine.
Yes. We also have some expansions coming out as well. So we have a Deep Rock Galactic expansion, Survivor. I believe this is DLC. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
It's actually not DLC. It's a completely new spin-off game. It's an auto shooter. So it's like a top-down where you just like maneuver your guy around. He automatically shoots.
Oh, gotcha.
A similar type game would be, do you remember Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor Martyr?
I think so, yeah.
Warhammer is really bad at naming their games.
Yes.
I'm just going to say it. Dork? Anyway, So that's going to be a new spin-off title. Deep Rock Galactic is on Game Pass, and it's really fun. I haven't played it in a while because I played a lot of it, and I have other games I want to play. But it's really good.
That might be another one we review as well, because I actually didn't like Deep Rock as much as you did. I felt like it was a little too grindy.
It's very grindy because there's no actual narrative campaign. It is just it's not grindy. It's miney because you're mining.
Because you're a dwarf.
But it is a fun game, like especially if I don't know if other people do LAN parties. We do LAN parties where we get like just guys in a room and we play a co-op game and we drink too much Mountain Dew and we have a good time.
Yep.
They're fun. And we've done that with Deep Rock. And I actually just told the story on our last stream about when I blew up our whole party with a satchel charge right at the very end of a mission because there is friendly fire.
Yep. There is a lot of friendly fire.
I feel so much shame over that moment because it was a hard mission and I killed all of us at the we spent like 30 minutes on the mission and I threw a satchel charge to be funny thinking we were outside of the blast radius, killed us all. I still feel so bad about that.
As you should. On your tombstone it should say Team Killer. Anyways, let's keep moving on here. We also have another piece of news. Henry Cavill is going to be joining the MCU as Captain Britain. Captain Britain.
Cool. Captain Britain.
He's British. Captain. What a dumb name for a superhero.
Manchester and whatnot.
First of all, Captain America, dumb name. The only reason it gets any credit is because we're American and we're like, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Captain Britain, dumb name. Is she going to be going around with buck teeth and be like, does anybody want a spot of tea?
God save the Queen. I guess it's God save the King now, but...
We have now officially alienated all of our potential British listeners. Bye-bye. No, I'm just kidding. We love you. Come back.
I feel like it's pretty fair. There is so much you can roast us Americans about. It's like...
And most of it's accurate.
And most of it's pretty dang accurate.
So pretty excited about that. Elden Ring is also getting an expansion as well. A game that I have only played slightly because I'm not good at this type of game. It's Dark Souls style, if you don't know, themed
so Soulsborne.
Yeah, so very, very tough. Shadow of the Erd Tree is coming out June 21st.
You will not catch me dead on this game because let me tell you what, I would describe Soulsborne type games as not fun. And it requires a certain amount of self-induced punishment to get good at it. You know, people hear that and they're like, oh, so it's a skill issue with you. Yeah, I don't have enough time to grind to get good at this. I still haven't finished Jedi Survivor because I'm like stuck on this part and it's so hard. And I'm just like, can I play something that is fun? I'm not having fun right now.
I'm having a bad time.
I'm having a bad time.
I feel that.
Another piece of news, and this is one of our favorite gaming franchises. It's one of the few games that I've ever actually taken a day off of work to play on its release. This was Borderlands 3, but Borderlands is getting a movie and we finally got like a trailer. We got, you know, who's the cast going to be, and it's going to hit theaters August 9th. We'll probably go see this. I do not think it's going to be good.
No.
I am hopeful, but the casting is really confusing to me.
It's got Kevin Hart in it.
As Roland, a guy who is, first off, tall.
Yup.
And Kevin Hart is not.
I mean, Kevin Hart's a pretty fit guy, but
yeah,
he's not known for his stature.
He's what we would call a short king.
Should have been Idris Elba.
First off, that would have been a perfect casting because Idris Elba can get it.
Me, I would like to cast Idris Elba in like literally everything, so you know.
That man is handsome. Oh my gosh.
In other news, we also have seen some news coming out about Halo Season 2 getting a lot more love than Season 1. Season 1, I have not watched it yet. I'm excited to, but I don't have Paramount Plus because I can't shell out for everything.
Season 1 is on YouTube for free.
Isn't it if you have Paramount though?
Nope.
Then I'll have to watch it.
Watch it. Maybe we'll do a review.
But it's getting a lot more review. I have seen one scene already because it was like somebody put it on TikTok and I was like, oh, that was kind of cool.
Was it the Bravo Squad clip where they're in the fog?
No, it was a scene between a human and Sangheili.
Oh shoot.
Somebody had made a compilation of clips that was like two different types of elites, and it's elites committing war crimes.
Dope. For your information, Nathan, one of our guys in our Patreon Discord posted a clip of Halo Season 2 where they're kind of like in the fog, and it's definitely thriller-esque, borderline horror. It's so freaky.
Yes.
I loved it. I was like, this is great.
More flood, more flood.
I'm not going to say anything more.
What else do we got? Invincible Season 2 Part 2 is finally coming out.
Finally. Oh my gosh. I've really been loving Invincible because it's superhero content that I really enjoy, whereas Marvel has been kind of meh, but like Invincible, really good. I mean, you do have to have kind of a strong stomach to watch it. It's brutal. It earns every bit of its TV MA rating.
It's wild.
It is wildly violent.
Really good, though. Andrew, have you seen our last piece of news that I just found?
Is that for real?
According to this link from Engadget.com, Xbox has confirmed that certain Xbox exclusives will be released on PlayStation and Nintendo. This includes Halo, Gears of War, Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush. Never played that last one. We just got done recording like an hour ago talking about how Helldivers is probably not going to come to Xbox. This could change the paradigm, and Helldivers could come to Xbox.
This changes everything.
Like, I just saw this.
This could change everything. You're totally right.
And I have a link to the article in our notes. I will do my best to remember to put that in the description. So check that out.
You need to post that in our Discord. That's huge. Oh my gosh.
Pretty freaking cool.
We've already seen a little bit of a resurgence to games like Gears 5 because it's free on Game Pass. And it's still really fun. And we've seen not an insignificant amount of new players coming into Gears 5. If we saw like an entire wave of PlayStation people coming into Horde mode, oh my gosh. I still play Gears 5 all the time.
Yeah, same.
This is huge. And even things like Halo, this could mean, the player base would explode. That is unreal. That's unreal. I'm so excited.
Yeah, this could be, it does render a lot of our potential conversation literally an hour ago, which you guys saw a week ago at this point in time, kind of moot, which is a good thing.
Null and void. Yeah, that would be a huge thing.
Not all titles are coming.
Those are the big ones.
Those are some of the biggest titles we have. Again, Sea of Thieves, I'm kind of like, whatever. I didn't quite, being a pirate's fun, but I didn't quite get into that game as much as I would have liked. Never played Hi-Fi Rush, but having Halo and Gears, it's like, if I could play Halo and Gears, there's no reason for me to not own a PlayStation. Like I'd be like, I can play everything I want to all on one. So I'm hoping that will increase the cross-platform connectivity, especially with Helldivers. Give me Helldivers. Give me democracy.
Give me democracy for Super Earth.
For Super Earth.
Dude, yeah, I am so caught up in the Helldivers 2 hype. I just want to play it. My computer sucks. Come on. I have a brand new Xbox. Please put it out on Xbox.
So this could be huge. But that is all I have. Andrew, do you have anything else you'd like to add before I outro us?
I think you should outro us. That's a lot of really good gaming news. I'm definitely a lot more hyped filming this episode than I was filming last week's episode, which was super negative about the Marvels. If you haven't caught that already, subscribe to the channel, follow us. It's it's episode 61. We like to be pretty positive. The last one, we were not positive at all. It was bad.
Almost to the point where we decided to almost not review it on the podcast because we were like,
we almost didn't.
Thank you guys for watching. Every single one of you. You guys are all amazing. Make sure to leave your theories in the comments. Share pictures of any models or Lego that you guys are building on Twitter and Instagram. Or if you guys have a question you guys would like answered on the podcast, shoot us an email at talkabouttatooine@gmail.com. If you got anything you want on air, make sure to subscribe and like this video so the algorithmic overlords will slice this video into the feeds of other like-minded folk. And until next time, may the force be with you.